Hello and welcome to today's video, building a slum, especially in the snow. I'm your builder, New Build City, NBC for short, of course. And like I said, today we're going to go ahead and build a slum in this area. I've built a few slums in my day in a few other cities, and I always like how it looks. And it's pretty nice, kind of like build to do, maybe near your industry area, industry's DLC area, just to kind of give that part of the city kind of that slum vibe, I guess you could say. And let's go ahead and get started. And of course, we're going in here and roughing up the terrain a little bit just to create various height elevations, because we're going to be using some of the city park assets from the Park Life DLC. Basically the food stall #1, I think is what it's called, the official name, to stack on top of each other, all like inside almost like a cliffside, to kind of create that feeling of compactness and almost like overcrowdedness. And in order to do that, of course, we need to have the elevation be high in some spots, low in other spots. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's what we're doing. And it's looking pretty good. I like a lot of the lumps and bumps that I just put in here. So the next step is going to be running some roads. And I mean, you want to go ahead and run the roads in between the hills, on top of the hills. Really, we're going to keep the road spacing pretty tight, because the way we're going to go ahead and zone in here is going to be a lot of light density, kind of that 1x1, 1x2, 1x3, 1x4 zoning. We'll have a few like 2x2s, maybe even fewer 3x3s as well, once again, because we want to create a lot of small compact buildings in here. So here I am, like I said, just taking the dirt road with the freeform tool and just snaking around and just trying to follow the terrain a little bit, but also be somewhat random about it. And hey, if you don't like it, it's the dirt road, just blow it away and just make a new one. We're almost done the road structures. It's looking pretty darn good, if I don't say so myself. So after we run the roads, the next step's going to be like run the water or electricity. And what we'll go ahead and do is probably add like our services or schools. We'll probably need one elementary school, cemetery, police, fire, health. Maybe 2 elementaries, 1 high school. It's probably going to be like close to like 10,000 people living back here when we're finally done. So it's a good amount of stuff. And then after that, looks like I'm going ahead and run our district painting. We're going to have several different kind of zoning types in here. We're going to have, of course, the map is North American, so we'll have that just right off the bat. And we're going to go ahead and paint an area with self-sufficient as well as European suburbia. And as you can see, I'm just kind of making a mess of it, because it's a slum, so I don't really want like an organization. I want it to be kind of like a random and just little blotches here and there of like the different buildings. So like I said, I'm just kind of trying to randomly blotch things around. And now we're going to go ahead and start zoning. And the zoning type, I think I might have mentioned already, if I haven't, is we're going to do a lot of 1x1s, 1x4s, 1x3s, this stuff like that, as well as a few 2x2s, and maybe a very few 3x3s. A little bit of high density a little bit later on. We'll use like the brick buildings from North American. Like I said, the kind of like the 2x2s and the 3x3s will be more. We'll be looking for those university city buildings. and we're going to be locking them down. So you're going to see me use the big bulldozer tool to check if it's locked down, and by that I mean make it historical. And then here we're going to go ahead and add some of those food stalls just to kind of make it look like it's really dense in here. A lot of people live in here. Like these are like little huts. And I'm just trying to face them like as though maybe there's like pathways that people can kind of walk through. And I added the fire pit as well with some pathing, just to kind of give it an area where, you know, people can maybe congregate. Adds a little bit of light to the area, especially if you're going to have a night cycle. It looks really, really good. And it will attract people to use the path because, you know, tourists and stuff will come visit it if it's connected to like they can walk to it. So that's nice as well. So it kind of gives you a little extra foot traffic, as well as gives you that, like, this is a different ambience. And here we're going to go ahead and add some more huts. And in this area here, I think we're going to do some high density right when you enter in, like this kind of like square and triangle. And we're going to put a bunch of the huts along that ridge there, like cliff face as well. That's like our entrance into the slum. So we need to move the district painting a little bit because it's just going to be North American. We got to do it in such a way we don't. I mean, we could be careless and just destroy a few buildings. It's not the end of the world, but I'm going to try my best, I guess, to be kind. Here we're going to zone like 1 or 2 3x3s, some 2x2s, and a lot of like little 1x2s, 1x1s. And that'll give us some nice brick buildings. We're going to lock them down to level 1. You can see them kind of coming in now. It looks good. And I'm just popping up once in a while just to see if you know what else is zoning in, locking things up. Which I spared you for most of that because it's the same old. Just look around, check with the bulldozer. Now, if you are going to check to see if buildings are historical, one tip that I actually did after, kind of like this, is you go to the bulldozer. Of course, hit square on PlayStation. Bring up so you're into the bulldozer tool. Hit triangle to bring up like the bulldozer wheel. And then on the right side, there's like a one that says building, and you click on that, and then that way when you do this, it won't highlight the roads. You'll notice it only highlights the buildings, and it will allow you to blast away any building that's not historical, but not blow up any roads or trees, I guess, or anything like that, which is nice. I think I'm using it here. You can see that the roads weren't highlighted there, which is good, because I've accidentally blown up a lot of roads, and probably mentioned it in other videos. I do a lot of freeform roads, and you know, they're kind of like one and done. And if you have buildings that you wanted to keep, and then you accidentally, you know, you're on the last one, and then you go ahead and check which one it is, and you actually do a double X or something and blow up the roads, and then you're like, crap, now I got to redraw the road, and then the zoning tiles don't line up to the other buildings anymore, and then all of them disappear, and it's like you're back down to the square one again, which is yeah, frustrating for sure. Here we are adding huts again. And once again, these are, I think it's called Food Stall Number 1 from the City Park from Park Life DLC. So you have that. If you don't, I don't know what you could use outside of that. There is like a grill in the I think it's called the prop section of the leisure tab. I don't think that would do look well though. I think there's nothing else. So I'm just taking a look at our handiwork, and you can see we're getting like halfway done. It's looking good. Looking real good. Got this little spot done by the cemetery. Looking pretty nice. And we're about halfway done running these here. So I'm like, what I'm kind of doing that you're not really seeing is I'm planting like 1 or 2 rows of this stuff, because it's, you know, I mean, this isn't the most exciting thing. It looks great when you're done, but I'm just planting, like I said, 1 or 2 rows. Then I'm going around with the bulldozer tool, checking to see if anything I zoned came in, what it is, make it historical. If it's not what I want, blow it away, let it come back. Then I'll run another row or 2, do that, and then as I'm running out of like green to zone, then I might zone some more residents and kind of rinse and repeat. That's a pretty good process, pretty efficient process way to do it. It's kind of bounce back between like one working area and another. That way it gives them time to kind of come in. Because right now I think I'm playing on 2 speed, and with 62,000 citizens on the PlayStation 4, with all the crud that I put down, all the trees and stones and stuff, the game is running. You can see how fast or how slow the kind of cars are driving on the road there. They're kind of running as if it's on 1 speed. Like in the beginning of the game, you don't have anything placed. So it takes a little while for like the building to kind of come in and actually build. Looks like we're almost wrapping up this area. It's looking pretty sweet. Add our little fire pit. So bring a little bit of light to the area. Next is to do some detailing. Alright, this area is done. So you can see I finished up the detailing in this high density area, as well as I actually finished all of the slums. I wanted to show you kind of those first 2 spots, because once you kind of do the light density and high density like I showed you, it's really like a rinse and repeat. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the rest of the work here. I think it came out splendid. And of course, if you're interested in building a slum like this, the first step was to do the training, right? We wanted some ups and downs all around, so that gives us the ability to put that food stall number 1 kind of on these cliff faces to create that compactness, that overcrowdedness really. And once we kind of got our training in, went ahead and ran some free-form dirt roads just to kind of keep it organic, mostly unplanned look. See, it came out really nice. You can see the different layering, different building structures, different zoning types. We kept the zoning once again to like kind of like that 1x1 to 1x4 with an occasional higher density. We also zoned different areas, with the district painting, so we could have some North American style, the European suburban style, as well as the self-sufficient kind of mixed up in here. Once again, made it look random, so it's kind of like random. It's the slums themselves aren't planned in any way. There's no like planned real neighborhoods, so to speak. We're looking for on the North American, I guess the vanilla style. We're looking for kind of like those shacks, and we're also looking for really the self-sufficient. I don't really pay too much of mind to, and you can get it as specific as you want, as detailed, or kind of like as slack as you want, just depending on how much time and effort you really want to put into it. We added the little fire pits and lean shelters and stuff like that, just to bring some color, some lighting to the area, attract some folks, extra foot traffic, and to maybe simulate like a burn barrel that you might see in the slums, or I've seen like in the movies, kind of in those kind of areas where people all kind of like congregating around like a 55-gallon drum that's like got fire coming out of it because they just put like random scraps of stuff in there. So I'm really happy with the building choices. I like like I said, the compactness that food stall brings to us. I'm really happy with the detailing. And you can always add more trees, more rocks, more fencing, but in more park life assets, more props. I mean, whatever your imagination takes you, of course, go for it. We also added transit to the area. We have a bus route that goes from kind of like the main gate of the slum to our ferry bus hub, and then we have 2 school bus routes just driving around somewhat randomly. I mean, for the most part, they're in pretty good spots. And then we have this nice kind of like American style bridge and pathing across the highway that connects to the biking system that connects to the metro, so people can kind of get to the metro and metro through the city. So in a bus is taking them to the gate. We could charge them a little bit, make a little money if we want. Why not, right? So I hope this inspires you or gives you some ideas to on how to build like a slum in your city. It makes a really nice feature, especially around your industry or industries DLC area. And maybe adds a little bit of realism to it. If you do build something like this, leave a comment below. Let me know what you like about them, or what inspires you to build a build like this. And if you've never built anything like this, well, hopefully leave a comment saying, hey, thank you for showing me this. I can't wait to do something like this in my city as well. Well, thank you very much for watching. Of course, I'm New Build Cities, NBC for short. If you want to become a member of the NBC family, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you on board for more content just like this and other content that we'll be pushing out. As well as leave a like. It does help out the video be ranked up higher in the searches and all that good stuff. It means more people will be exposed to builds like this that might help them out or improve the look of their cities. Well, I wish you guys, of course, the best and brightest city that you can build. Thanks for watching again. And until next time, I wish you happy building.